Hi everyone and welcome to Easy Learning. Today we are going to cover part 33 of our ABAT exam series and the topic is identify the six verbal operants. In ABA and Skinner's analysis of verbal behavior, verbal operants are the functional unit of language defined by their antecedents and consequence. There are mainly six verbal operands. These are meant, tact, echoic, intraverbal, texture, and transcription. Starting with mend. Mend is a request for something like I want juice. Now, what could be the antecedent and consequence of a mend? An antecedent could be a motivating operation like hunger, thirst, and consequence could be direct reinforcement specific to the request, like receiving food when asking for it. How can we do mend training? For mend training, you can consider holding a preferred item out of reach, prompt the learner to request it, for example, juice, and immediately reinforce by giving the item. Tact is about labeling or identifying objects, action, or events, like looking at something and saying its name, labeling it. That's a dog. The antecedent of tact could be a non-verbal stimulus like seeing a dog or hearing a bell, and the consequence could be generalized reinforcement like social praise. Tact training can be done by showing an object or picture and asking what is this, giving prompt if needed and reinforcing correct responses with praise or small rewards. Now what is echoic? Echoic is repeating what another person says. For example, say ball and the child says ball. The antecedent of echoic could be a verbal stimulus from another person. For example, hearing apple and consequence could be generalized reinforcement as praise or encouragement. Echoic training can be done by saying a word, prompting the learner to repeat it and reinforcing correct approximation. Gradually increase complexity. Intraverbal. Intra means between. Conversation between two people or a conversational response or answering question like what is your name? My name is John. Antecedent of intraverbal are a verbal stimulus or a question and consequence could be generalized like praise or continuation of a conversation. Intraverbal training can be done by starting with fill in the blanks or WH questions like what do you need for breakfast? Prompt if needed and reinforce correct answers. Textual. Textual refers to reading written words aloud. The antecedent could be a written or printed stimulus and consequence is generalized reinforcement. Textual training can be done by showing a word, having the learner read it aloud and reinforcing correct reading. Introduce longer words gradually. Transcription refers to writing or spelling words spoken aloud. Antecedent are a verbal stimulus that is heard and consequence is generalized reinforcement. Transcription training can be done by saying a word, prompting the learner to write it, reinforcing attempts and progress to longer words. Other than the training of each verbal operant, general training tips include using errorless learning. Errorless learning is prompting right away before even the mistakes happen, reinforcing immediately and consistently, using multiple exemplars to encourage generalizations, and keeping sessions short and engaging. Track progress using data collection. Coming towards the MCQs, which verbal operand involves making a request for something the learner wants? Meant. What is the best way to train a child to label objects in their environment? Show an object and ask what is this while reinforcing correct responses. Which of the following is an example of an intraverbal response? Answering the question what's your name with John. In which verbal operand does a learner repeat what another person says. Echoic. What is the goal of transcription training? Teaching a learner to write or spell words they hear. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.